Welcome back, everybody. Now that Last Judge has been defeated, we finally get to make our way to Act 2. And this is where things are going to start to get pretty interesting. We've accumulated some movement at this point. We're making the best use we can of the cling grip ability to be able to jump off of walls and speed things up. But not having dash definitely slows things down. And one of the reasons why we've prioritized getting to Act 2 fairly quickly is that we're going to want to get the Clawline ability, because that's going to speed things up substantially. But for now, we still need to stick to our pogos. So we have a couple of goals here. First off, we're going to open some shortcuts, because we're going to need access throughout the Citadel. You can see we're having a little bit of fun here with the way that we manipulate these. You can use a little backward spear there to get through the wall pretty quick. And so our first goal, while this area is still deactivated, the enemies haven't really spawned yet. We just need to make our way forward. But then once we do get everything spawning, then we're going to want to make our way over to one of the first Ventricas, because the Ventricas are going to give us the access we need to revisit various areas as we complete various quests we need to complete for the true ending requirements. So, lots of pogoing through here. And, right on cue, here comes Lace. So, now at least we have some things to fight, too. Although for the most part, we're going to ignore them until we get some quests to gather things from them. So our first stop is going to be the Ventrica over by the spa. So we're going to head to the left here, and we're going to head deep around. We're going to have to pass through an arena, and we're also going to pick up some rosaries that happen to be in the area that are going to be helpful. We're always using the float to cancel our pogos where we can so that we can repogo again immediately. So first off, we'll take the bench here, because we're going to want to quit out after we get the Ventrica. But now we're going to do an arena fight. And so as this fight goes on... oh, I forgot. We do have one little quick stop for some rosaries. This is a heavy necklace, so it's actually worth quite a bit. But one thing to watch for this fight is look for a technique called instaspear. This is a tricky technique where as you land on the ground from float, you could actually fire your spear and have it fire instantly without having the normal wind-up animation. This requires, right there, requires very specific timing to get it to happen. So it's not really an RTA viable thing. And actually, we're only going to be able to use it for a couple of fights, because once we have wings, we won't be able to do the necessary float interrupt to be able to do that anymore. So it'll just be a couple of fights where we use these instaspears. More rosaries, since those are pretty free. And then we open a shortcut for later. So now we are going to head up to Songclave, because we need to get the quests up there started. There's a number of quests that are started in Songclave, and the sooner you start those, the better, because we need to start collecting drops from enemies. So to get there, we are going to head through vaults. First, though, gotta save the flea. Awooo! These rooms are very awkward with the way the platform spawning works. It's hard to get good timing. You almost seem to be on an anti-cycle. But thankfully you can just go up the spikes in most cases. So in order to get to vaults, we're first going to go through the Cogwork Dancers. We're going to delay doing a lot of the final stuff, as far as getting the melodies and whatnot, until much later. But getting access to the core and to vaults is going to give us access ultimately to Trobio, which is going to get us to the Clawline that we desperately want. The key thing with this fight is that these two do not share a health pool, and as a result, you always want to focus one of them down. Damage that you do to the other one is retained between phases either, so really the only reason you want to hit the other one is if you can't hit the one that you're targeting. So just as a way to get some soak. And now for the sad part. Don't worry, we'll make it quick. And then we can quit out there to cancel the animation. But we still have to go through this part of the cutscene. Gotta get our quest. So the next room, we're gonna do some funny movement. We can't do quite as sophisticated of a movement as we can do with dash, because dash you could use pogo dash to get through enemies. So we're gonna have to go around a little bit. So for here, for example, we go around the left instead of going through the enemies on the right. But we do a fun little cheeky backwards pogo there. And the cycles actually do work out pretty well. We're able to get up here, and then pogo our way up. And this cycle actually works out very nicely. And then we open that for later. It's going to be so nice when we finally have Clawline. We do want to make sure this bridge is the other direction for later, so we hit it there. And then now we are going to have one more arena. This is another case where you want to keep an eye out for instaspear usage. We do use instaspear a couple times here. It's that combination of the pogo hammer into an instaspear, and then we can manage to arrange to spear all three of those. Fairly efficient. That last one was a little bit slow, but not too bad. We get a little shortcut through here. Very easy one to miss, but it gives us access to the Songclave area. You always want to make sure you get that key, because if you don't, Jubilana will sell it to you. Much better to get it for free. Then we hit the bell and we say hello. So we need to get the quest from Songclave, So in order to reload it, we'll go ahead up here and buy this Ventrica, because we're going to want it later anyways. While we're waiting, we'll go ahead and sell some, or break some beads. And then we can save and quit back out to Songclave. This reloads the area, and we'll be able to now accept some quests. We're getting a couple major quests here. We're going to go ahead and do the initial build-up, because that's going to give us more quests later. We're going to spend some rosaries on that, and then we're going to get the pin collection. And we're also going to get the mission to rescue Jubilana. It's a very funny movement there. Most of this movement is pretty straightforward. It's a little bit slower without dash because we're having to do these pogos. In one case, though, we do manage to take advantage of a little bit of setup. We're going to go ahead and use those blocks later, so we set them up down. And we also collect a few rosaries in the process. Do a little wall swimming past that guy. So we're going to fight Trobio, but before we do that, we want to get a couple of pins. And there happen to be a couple of pins right outside the door here. So we're going to grab two. And make a use of the pogo hammer so that we can get it in there. On this patch, the pins are RNG, but we're manipulating RNG so that they always drop. Get a little bit of an early control there. Not by a lot, but enough to help. And now in order to reset those enemies, we're going to set at a bench, but we're also going to go ahead and buy the Bellway as well as the Ventrica while we're here. This is kind of the main hub between the Bellway and Ventrica systems, so you use this Grand Bellway quite a bit. Then we can go get another pin. This time we go ahead and kill the other guy too. For a little extra rosaries, a few shards. We're going to need all of those rosaries and shards later. We used a damage tank there to try to get that guy in a better position so that it's easier to get into his pen. And now we can fight Trobbio. The Trobio fight without dash is a little bit awkward because it's hard to follow him when he is doing his tornado. So we have to use spears basically when he starts to get away from us. But otherwise, we can use our pogo hammer to deal lots of damage. And then his stagger gives us a ton of damage potential. He does go in the floor once, but not enough to save him. And his melodramatic death sequence proceeds. Fun fact, if you come back in this room after he has died, you can actually see him getting up off of the floor. He's just playing dead. And that's it. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Next time you can look forward to some very fun Clawline movement. We're going to have a lot of fun with it. And we are also going to finally get access to wings. So it's going to give us some wonderful flexibility. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Hit the bell if you want to be notified when the next episode comes out. Thank you everybody for watching.